All right, so let's go ahead and jump in on this one. Now, I really wanted to, let me turn my phone off. I really wanted to make this video for the people that I know who are following everything that I'm doing, and especially my students who are following me inside of Memphis Entrepreneur Club, who are basically learning how to provide a lot of the same services that I do. One of the most important things that you can take from this video, whether you watch it now, later, whether you're just getting started with your business, or whether you've been in business for 10 years, is to always raise your prices, raise your standards, and try to raise your skill set as well, and there are different ways that you can do it. If you are providing some type of digital service or some type of creative service like videography, photography, try to learn something new that you can offer to your clients inside of the package of your services that is going to be beneficial to them, or that they might be interested in. Most people who look for these services from a creative like yourself don't know what's involved. They have no idea what other options they have. They just know what they know, and they know what they want to pay for, right? So if you can provide some more value to them, whether it be a more innovative service, let's say you're a photographer or you're doing videography and you're doing videos for weddings, maybe you can offer them a cinematograph, right? That's the new innovative video. A new way to create video content is to do a cinematograph. If you offer photography services, maybe you can create a digital course where you can teach people photography to diversify your income. And then in the process of doing this, you'll have students who are following your content who basically demand some of your time, which means the value of your time will go up, right? Of course, as you're doing photography, you can get into doing photo edits, which is going to be in addition to your services. If you're doing something like website design, you can also offer search engine optimization, some marketing services, setting up digital assets like social profiles, Facebook page, that kind of thing. So there are a lot of ways that you can increase your prices, and one of those ways is by adding related services to what you already offer. Okay, so it's definitely important that you guys understand that you don't want to be in the same place that you're in, right? You don't want to stay working with the same people that you work with. So let me go ahead and check some of these live messages that I'm getting in here. What's going on, David? Yo, thank you guys for joining. What's up, Chance? And I know a couple other people are watching, but their names aren't showing up. That's okay. Comment on the video if you're watching, if you have questions, want to interact. I'm watching the stream live as well so that I can see your comments in real time. So if you have something to say what's up. So for me, in early 2016, late 2015, I was designing websites, and I'm just going to use websites as an extreme example. I was designing websites, and around that time I was probably selling websites for about $300 a site. Now, I think my websites were pretty damn good for what I was charging for them, but I had no experience in getting the business and getting people's money. So I started offering my services at $300 because I had no idea how much time it was going to take for me to build the websites, how much it cost for me to invest into building the websites. And I had no idea really how to get clients. So I was kind of desperate for money. And when you're desperate for money to pay bills or to buy groceries or whatever it might be, you're kind of willing to do anything. So I was willing to build crazy websites for a small amount of money. In return, it ended up taking a lot of my time to build those websites, and I still couldn't afford to have the lifestyle that I wanted, because as soon as I got the money to build those websites, that money was right out the door before the website was even done, because I had to pay for, I had to pay bills, and I had to buy groceries and stuff. So I didn't have any money left. But what I did have was a project that I needed to finish over the next month or 2 months or 3 months, depending on how picky my clients were. So money gone, immediately, paid bills, had a big project I needed to finish over at least a month. So because I didn't have any money, I needed to go find a second project, which was going to take up even more of my time at the same price, because again, I was charging $300 to $600, and just to get another, $100 saved, I had 2 projects that I had to finish over a month, and then I had $100 in my bank account, if that, to put towards, investing back into my business. That $100 went back into my domain name, my hosting, my server. So at the end of the day, at the end of the month, I maybe had $25 that I could do something with, right? Because I was charging so little for my services. Needless to say, fast forward 12 months, I was charging, $300 at first. Fast forward 12 months, now I'm charging $1,300. Okay, fast forward another few months, now I'm charging $5,000, $10,000 for a website, right? And I'm going to tell you basically how I'm able to go from $300 to $3,000 or $12,000, and how I'm able to find the people that are willing to pay me that money, even though they've never met me, never seen me in person. So this especially works with digital services. This especially works for creative services, because at the end of the day, art is art, and the only person that can put a price tag on art and creative digital services is the person that sees that as valuable to them, right? So when you're selling a digital product, for example, an ebook, one person might want to spend $100 on that ebook, while another person might want to spend $5, because that person that wants to spend $100 sees more value and is willing to put action behind it. He has probably been, or she has probably been, investing in other courses before, and they see the value of that $100 bringing a return of thousands of dollars from that $100 investment. All right, so with creative services like videography, photography, even like selling something like art, like canvases, right? You might sell your first canvas for $25. That $25 canvas is probably worth $1,000 somewhere else to someone else in the world, right? So the second way to kind of increase your income and charge more for your services is find people who are willing to pay more, right? One of the big problems that I see a lot of people, big mistakes that I see a lot of people making, which is what I made, was staying within the same audience of people, within the same caliber of person who is willing to only pay, X amount of dollars for your services. So for example, when I first started building websites, I was working with producers and rappers, all right? Not really even musicians, rappers and producers. Rappers and producers tend to have the lowest income. Even the rappers and producers who do quote unquote make it big time are actually helping other people make money, so they still don't have a lot of money, even though it appears that they do. But the local rappers and producers I worked with, some of them didn't have a job. If they did have a job, they didn't have priorities. So when I told them, hey, you got to pay $300 for a website, they said, I don't have that money. But I'd see them on Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook posting pictures of their weed and their new shoes and their belts and all this other stuff that they bought. So in reality, they did have the money, they just didn't have the priorities. My issue for the first 6 months was that I kept trying to offer my services to producers and rappers, not realizing that it wasn't my services that was the problem. It was the client that I was reaching to who was not qualified to pay for those services. So by increasing your prices, by increasing and raising your standards, you kind of force yourself to start focusing on promoting your services to a different caliber of person, right? That's not to say that producers and artists, that's not to say that you can't find a producer or artist who will pay you thousands of dollars for a website, but it's quite hard to stay in the same niche of people who have one mindset, right? Typically in a niche, for example, the music industry, most people have a specific mindset in that industry based on what they see, based on the resources that are available to them or not available to them, and based on what's presented to them in the mainstream media. So for me, for the first 6 months, I tried to work with musicians and every single, or not musicians, rappers and producers, and every single rapper and producer I came across, because we were either friends or because we were cool or because we were both interested in music, they asked me to quote unquote fuck with them. Say, hey, fuck with me, give me, build a website for me for $250 instead of $300. Like, give me $50 off since we're cool, or give me $50 off, because I only have $300 to my name and I need to use 50 of it for to pay a bill, when in reality they just really didn't want to pay the whole 300 to get my services, right? So what I ended up having to do after the 6 months was kind of reevaluate who I was targeting with these services. So by increasing my prices from $300 to $600, inevitably I was able to find someone outside of the entertainment industry who needed a website, who trusted me to build that website and was willing to pay $600. That's where I got my first kind of major website design. And what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and pull up my desktop and show you some of these websites. And I'm not going to put a price tag on any except for 2. I'm just going to put a price tag on 2. All right, so let me go ahead and open up Google Chrome. We'll open an incognito window. I'll go over to labelus.com. So one of the ways that you can increase your prices is by of course, over time, building up a portfolio at what you think your services are worth. So try to charge the price that you can charge, and try to get the clients that you have access to. If you're building a brand new business, kind of make it a win-win situation to where your clients get a great service from you, and you get the money that you need to pay your bills and to, invest back into your business, right? This is my website right now. I don't list prices on my website. The only price you'll ever see on my website is in this video that basically tells my clients, hey, the price is starting at $1,200, so that my customers or my prospects know that they are going to, at minimum, have to spend $1,200 if they want to get a website designed by me, right? So that kind of lets people know, hey, this is the minimum, but there are no prices. Technically what you need from me as a service, we're going to have a consultation so that I can figure out what you need and how much time it's going to take for me to make this, and basically eventually how much is it going to cost you. So you want to position yourself as a consultant, and don't put a hard price on your services. Don't build a portfolio and say photography is $1,200 or X amount of dollars per hour. Don't build a portfolio saying graphic design is so and so. Of course, unless it's a logo, maybe you can kind of figure out how much time it takes you to provide one specific service. For me, that's what logos, for example. If I know that I'm probably going to take a week to design a logo, then I'll give them a hard quote that is like a median, which for me right now is $500. All right, so if you understand how long it takes for you to provide something specific, maybe you can put a hard quote on that. But I don't like to put prices on my website, because most people will fall in love with my work, and based on what they need, the complexity of the service that I'm going to provide to them, I'm able to ask them, hey, how much is your budget? What is your deadline? Tell me a little bit about yourself, about your business, what I'm going to be doing. And based on that, all that information, hey, I think that, this is what I can charge you for the services. Can you do that? And if they can't, we can try to knock it down from there, right? But you want to shoot high, okay? Don't just shoot to aim straight. Shoot high so that you can reach further. And, by shooting higher, you're able to kind of knock that price down a little bit to something that seems more reasonable to your client, and you're able to basically hit your number that you ultimately want to hit. So what I mean is hit higher than your number, and then, you know, if someone says I can't afford that, then you can knock it down. Don't try to hit your target number of, you know, I need, you know, $500 for bills this month, and say I'm going to shoot for $500. If they say they can't do 500, now you have, you know, a $250 job and you won't have your bills paid. So shoot higher than what your goal is and try to knock it down to where your exact goal is. All right, that's my first piece of advice. So for me, when I first started designing websites, I had to get one good job under my portfolio. So this website I charged $600 for. Now this website is well worth over $25,000. All right, I can easily say this is well worth over $25,000. If a moving company came to me today and asked me to design something like this for them, that's what I would charge. A hard price, nothing less, because I spent a lot of time on this website. I spent a lot of time designing this truck. I designed from scratch. These lights, this might look like a picture that someone took with a camera. I designed all of these layers from scratch and made it look 3D. Like I legitimately sat here and drew all of this with the pen tool inside of Adobe Fireworks to make this look like a real truck. And then I had to figure out how to make the truck drive away from the screen when you scroll up and down on the website, right? And then once it, you know, goes out to the middle of the page, the website scrolls up, everything is parallax, right? I click on the links in the menu. It's so smooth. It goes down to the exact place that I want it to go, right? Because I spent time trying to figure out how to make this the perfect website for my client. $600 and probably about 3 months of work. Would you go to work for 3 months for $600? No, you wouldn't. So I understand like how much time I put into this, how much energy, how much effort, how much design work, how much aesthetic quality I put into this website design, but he paid $600 for it, right? This was the first website in my portfolio. Now, when I put this in my portfolio, I did not put websites $600. I did not put websites $1,000. I just put this in my portfolio, and when someone said, hey, I need a website, I showed them my portfolio. They said, wow, that's incredible. What do you charge? I said, well, asking me what I charge for a website is like going to a car dealership and asking them what they charge for a car. Now, every car is different, and every customer is going to need a different type of car. So that's where you can raise your prices, in knowing that you're not just selling some hard service, basically either ripping them off or getting ripped off. That's where the consultation comes in. So you say, hey, I can't really tell you what I charge. I need to know what you want first. Right? Each digital and creative service is like a car, and each customer is the driver. You're trying to drive a specific goal, so we need to figure out what it is you want to accomplish before I give you a price. They're going to tell you what they want to accomplish. You're going to gather all your resources up together and say, hey, based on what you want, based on the deadline you have, based on your budget, this is what I can do. Or I'm sorry, we can't work together based on the budget you have and the time that I'm going to have to put into this. We can either work something out and we can split the payments. I'm going to have at minimum this much money, but we can split it in 2 months. If you can't do it right now, you know, try to save the money and come back next month. Or, you know, we just can't do business together because this is below the minimum of what we will accept to do this type of service. Don't be afraid to say no. Right? Saying no is going to open the door of opportunity for bigger clients to come to you who will be interested in paying what you are actually worth. All right, so I hope that makes sense. So for me, I created this website, and then from this, I was able to go out over 12 months and build up a portfolio, charging a little bit more every client, and I realized that I was obligated to those clients when I accepted, you know, their business and when they paid me. So they would pay me up front. At first it was $300. This was a little over 12 months ago. All right, the next client was about $400. The next client was $600. The next client was $800. The next client was $1,000. The next client was $1,200. I've been lingering around $1,200 because I've been trying to figure out, how do I find more people who want to pay more than $1,200? So right now I kind of understand who my target audience is, of people that can afford a $1,200 website. Now I'm transitioning from $1,200 websites to $5,000 websites, right? And by the end of the year, I'll be transitioning from the $5,000 and $10,000 and $15,000 websites to the $50,000 websites. Yes, literally one single website for 50 grand. The clients are out there. So my way of explaining the different tiers of clients is that you basically have 3 tiers of services you can provide in your creative atmosphere, and you have 3 tiers of clients that you can reach in your creative atmosphere. So again, I'm going to use website designing and logos as an example. Let me create a new document here, 1920 by 1080. Right, so let me change this background to white, and I'm going to draw out a few blocks. All right, so let's say red, yellow, green. All right, or we'll do like orange since yellow is a little bright, and green. We're going to align these centered to the object, and we're going to space these evenly. Let's say 150. All right, perfect. And we're going to group those and center them to my canvas. Duplicate, boom, center to the canvas. Group those, and boom. All right, so what I'm drawing right here is my 3 different tiers of clients and my 3 different tiers of services. And I want to create this visual because I'm a visual. I learn visually. I learn much better visually than I do reading text or listening to somebody, because sometimes it's hard for me to focus. So I like to learn visually. Let me see, we have a couple of comments in here. Got 2 clients I'm meeting with tomorrow, hoping to earn their paid business next week. Hey Chance, actually, you know what? Send me a direct message right now or after this video if you can. I've got a new services prices list that I put together that I want you to take a look at, that lists out all my services plus their costs. Along with anybody else that's in here now that's my student or intern or protege, whatever you want to call yourself. If you guys are following me and being taught by me, send me a direct message and I'm going to send you the document that I just created with my updated prices, so you can base your services off of that as well while you're learning from me. David says, I may need to up my prices for perfume. Hey, maybe you do. And also, you know, depending on your geographic location where you're selling that perfume, you know, take that perfume to Mexico, take that perfume to Dubai, connect with people on Facebook who live in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Atlanta, different areas, and, you know, maybe see if you can get a shipment of some perfume down there, someone you can connect with, because I promise you, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, they spend way more money on the same things that we buy out here at, you know, what we think is too high, too expensive, simply because they have more money and they see more value in it. So one way to raise your prices is to go to a different location where people value whatever product or service you're offering, right? So with this image right here, let me go ahead and add some text. I probably should have created this before the video, but I like to do things in real time because it makes it more unique and interesting. I like to kind of involve you guys in my creative process and my creative thought. So we're going to have tier 1 equals, all right, and I'm going to copy this. I'm going to align this to this object and over to the left. I'm going to duplicate it. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so I'll grab these, object. All right, and I like to make sure things are like uniform or whatever. You know, I like to make sure things look symmetric. Maybe I'll make this a little lighter red, so you can see this better. So tier 1, tier 2, and whoops, let's make sure we align this text to the left. and I'm going to move it over a bit. Cool. All right, so tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And hopefully this is going to help you guys. If it doesn't, I'm sorry for wasting your time. And hopefully you are in the right mindset to accept the fact that you are worth more than what you're presenting yourself to be. All right, so the tier 1 client. So let's say this is a or customer. Tier 1 service provider is a desperate freelancer. And I'm going to change the font of these to BEBAS. And we will kind of adjust the size a little bit. Cool. Now zoom in. And I hope you guys can see this okay. If you are on your phones, you can unlock the orientation inside of the control panel of your phone and then turn your phone sideways and you should be able to see this a little clearer. I should probably be recording this in HD to my desktop right now because Facebook is not letting me download my videos in HD for whatever reason. All right, so you've got tier 1, you've got the desperate freelancer. This person is so desperate for money and so desperate for food that they are willing to sell their services for $5 or $25, right? So let's use logo design as an example. If you go to Fiverr.com or Upwork.com, you've got those people who will do pretty much anything for $5, right? Guess what? The quality of their service is going to directly reflect the price that they're charging for their services. So that quote, that saying, you get what you pay for. Well, when you go to this tier 1 service provider, you're going to pay $5. You're going to get a $5 looking logo. All right. Tier 2 is the experienced freelancer. Right, so if you do photography, videography, you have a little bit under your belt, some experience. You have knowledge in different things related to photography that you can use to your advantage, and you can provide a more quality service. On top of this, you can probably also provide additional services that are related to photography. So you have enough experience to be able to not only offer a quality service, but offer multiple services that you know your clients are going to need. Let me center these actually. See, I'm a little bit of a design freak when it comes to layout and stuff. I'm gonna make this look good for you guys. All right, so tier 3 client, or I'm sorry, service provider, is the I guess you would call it the bespoke freelancer. All right, so this is the freelancer that not only offers logos and services that are in addition to or related to logo design, but they have some of the best. They have some of the best bespoke designs because they actually consult with their clients on what their business is like, what goal they're trying to achieve. They give the resources and information to their clients to educate their clients on what it is they do and why it's important that they answer specific questions. They can charge the most money. So this is kind of where I am with logo design. This is where a lot of people are with logo design. The majority of people are here, and there are some people here as well, right? I charge between $500 to about $2,500 for one single logo, right? That logo could take me a day to make, but my clients are willing to pay me $500 for a logo because I consult with them and I ask them a ton of questions, right? So I'm in the bespoke freelancer area. We're still freelancers, right? We're building our own businesses, so we're providing the services ourselves, which means we are freelancers. We don't have a business. We operate a self-employment company, right? So you've got 3 different tiers of clients who will need those services. So tier 1 of people who will need a logo design are people who see that logo design as a liability. So we'll say they have liability mindset. Okay. Tier 2 are the people who see that as a necessity. I hope did I spell that right? N-I-C. I don't know. Correct my spelling, because I haven't spelled necessity since I don't know when. And Tier 3 people are people who see that as a asset. All right, so let's see who we got in here. We got 3 people. Thank you, Chance. I appreciate it. So you've got your desperate freelancer who is desperate for money, and then you've got those Tier 1 customers who see a logo as a liability. They're like, shit, I need a logo for my business. I don't want to spend any money, but this is going to be another $25 that is coming out of my bank account. Like, hell, I don't want to spend this 25 bucks. This is a liability to me, so let me go and find the cheapest person I can possibly find to just get this shit done, right? Liability mindset. You've got the Tier 2 people who have a necessity mindset. I have a business, having a great logo is a necessity. I don't see myself making money because I have a great logo. So because I know this is necessary, let me just go ahead and pay someone who can give me a quality logo, right? I don't know how logos work. I don't necessarily care how logos work. I just want something that's going to look good. I don't know what looks good. I just need this because it's a necessity. I have a business, and every other one of my competitors has a logo. Necessity. Let me find someone that I can pay a decent amount of money because I know I need this. It's not necessarily a liability. I know I need it, so I'm going to get something that's going to look good, right? They're going to hire an experienced freelancer and not the desperate freelancer. And then you've got the person who has the asset mindset. So let me go ahead and add that. All right, so they are people who see, all right, we're still talking about logo designs. They are people that see that logo as an asset. They say, if we get the right logo, this is going to help us make $1 million. Obviously, our product is what's going to sell itself, but the logo speaks volumes. Nike, Yeezy, right? Adidas, Tums, Tory Burch, insert whatever big brand here, right? Live Fit Apparel. They sell basically the same t-shirts that you can buy in other stores without their branding and logo on it at $5 or $10 or $15, but they sell it for $100 or $125 or $80, right? But that logo is going to be an asset to my business. This website that I purchased is going to be an asset to my business. So because I know that I plan to make $1 million from this website and generate traffic, I am willing to spend $25,000 on the website to get the bespoke freelancer to design this. Obviously, this could be a desperate agency, experienced agency, and a bespoke agency, right? You can really put any word in the place of freelancer, a desperate photographer, experienced photographer, and bespoke photographer, because the bespoke photographer is going to have a caliber of services that he will offer to one client in one project, right? So I have a friend that has that is an experienced photographer. I met with him a month or so ago, and I said, hey, you do photography, you need to kind of expand your services a little bit so that you're not doing photography all the time. Obviously, you can create photography courses for the people who want to do photography at their own wedding, which, you know, generally does not happen. But at weddings, you can innovate your services and set up a tripod and set up a 360 camera to capture a 360 video that your wedding clients can go back and watch later with their grandkids, right? You pull up a 360 video in VR and they're going to be like, wow, turn around and there you are right there when you were 2 years old, right? Or when you were a baby in so-and-so's arm. If you turn around and look back in the reception, you're going to see you walking up next to your mom, right? That's going to create an experience for your clients. And because you have that bespoke service, your clients, the people who hired you to film their wedding, will be like, wait, 360 video when I have grandkids or when my nephew gets, to be 20 years old, I can go back and show him a VR version of this wedding. Yes, I want that. I don't care how much you charge. We'll pay for it because, we enjoy going back and watching our VHS. Now imagine what type of experience you're going to create for them by providing that bespoke service as a photographer or as a videographer, right? They will pay you what you think you're worth for it, which usually will be more money, which means you can get bigger weddings and bigger clients who have that kind of money to invest. Now, you don't have to do much convincing to get them to pay for that service. When they come to you and they're a big client, or when you go to them, you say, hey, I know you might have a photographer, but I offer a bespoke service that you might be interested in that I know your photographer does not do. Would you be interested in having a 360 video at your wedding? They're going to be like, oh, we never thought of that. That is genius. Why isn't our photographer not doing this? It's because they are an experienced photographer and not a bespoke photographer. Now you can go and offer, instead of $2,000 or $5,000 worth of services, 10 and 15 and 20,000. And that's going to create a lasting impression on that entire family who gets to experience that 360 video in virtual reality, right? So that's a extreme example. For me, I'm transitioning from the experienced freelancer to the bespoke freelancer, and my website is set up to represent that. Most bespoke service providers do not list prices on their websites for their services. They just don't do it because their audience has way more money than they have enough money to not care about how much it costs. So there's no reason to list prices on your website as a bespoke service provider. Okay, so these people see that service as an asset. Okay, so you've got, people sometimes ask me, why would I pay $500 for a logo when I can go to Fiverr.com and get one for $5? You're crazy. And I say, that's okay. Go ahead and go and get that, logo from them. That's probably going to be best for you anyway, because you have the liability mindset. And I don't work with people who have a liability mindset. I turn them down. I focus my attention on finding the right people who have an asset mindset, and I provide bespoke services to them. Now, your job is to transition from tier 1 to tier 3 over time, preferably over 6 months to a year, right? You do not want to offer the same services at the same price for the rest of your life, because it will turn into a job and you will lose passion. You cannot grow any type of business or invest into your equipment to provide better, more efficient services. Okay, so jump from tier 1 to tier 2, from tier 2 to tier 3. The way to go from tier 1 to tier 2 obviously is to gain experience. So stop being desperate and get some experience and become good at what it is you're offering. And by becoming good and gaining that experience, you can now provide more services around what it is you're good at. So for me, I was first offering website designs. Actually, it started with MySpace. I was doing MySpace layouts, right? And then I transitioned into HTML websites. So I was desperate at that time for money because I was becoming an independent person and I needed to pay bills. I needed to pay rent. So I was willing to design an incredible website for $300 because I needed $280, right? Once I got that $280, I was able to pay that late bill, which was $280, and I had $20 left over, plus a month worth of work that I needed to do. On top of that, I needed to get 2 or 3 more clients to be able to compensate for the rest of the month and to be able to enjoy the rest of my month, right? And to pay bills next month. So I ended up overworking myself by being desperate and accepting lowballing my offers. All right, so by gaining that experience as a website designer, I also learned how to do search engine optimization, digital marketing, graphic design, logo design. What else did I learn related to websites? Analytics, like Google Analytics, the Facebook Pixel, Facebook ads. I spent about $10,000 last year on taking digital courses and learning all of those different things because they all are important when it comes to building a website. When you build a website without all of those, you're basically selling your clients something that's not going to work. The whole purpose of a website is to get traffic. A website is the new business card. All right. But people have to see that business card, right? Which means people have to click on a link or find their way to that website. So by offering just a website design, I was basically selling myself and my clients short, because I didn't set them up for success. I just threw a beautiful looking website up that nobody ever heard about because it was just pretty. It didn't have the proper infrastructure, the engine to get it to where it needed to go. Right? The website was like the body of a car, and the SEO was like the engine. The SSL certificate that I installed on those websites was like the airbags and the review camera. It kept the people inside of that website safe when they were on that website. I also learned how to do a private blog network with automation, right? Which is kind of like the difference between buying a car and buying a Tesla that drives itself, right? That automated service that I incorporated into websites allowed people to have some automation so that they can get more done by doing one task instead of doing 10 tasks. Which is a video that I recorded today and put on Facebook. If you want to go back and watch that video before I take it down tomorrow, it's going to be up for 24 hours. But I've learned how to do all of those services, which are all incorporated into web design. Most bigger agencies, bigger businesses will pay $10,000 to get a website design because they know, hey, we don't just want a pretty website. We want it to be mobile responsive. We want Google Analytics. We want the Facebook page and the Facebook pixel to be installed. We want X, Y, and Z also on the website. If it's cute and it doesn't have all of those functions, then we might as well not have the website at all. If it's ugly and it has all of those functions, we'd rather have that than a cute website that doesn't have analytics, right? Because we know that analytics is necessary. That's tier 2. I gained more experience with web design and understood in whole how web design actually works. With photography, you don't want to just be a photographer. You've got to be good at lighting. You've got to be good at knowing which lenses to use for action, for stop motion, for long exposure, for nighttime, for daytime, for wide shots, for cinematic effects, for different emotional, psychological conditioning that you're going to put into your audience's mind when they watch that video at 600 frames per second versus 25 frames per second. You've got to understand all of those different aspects of photography and videography to become experienced and transition from experience to bespoke, right? Otherwise, you're just taking photos and your main concern is taking photos of beautiful looking things. Now, the desperate photographer will go and take photos of beautiful looking things and, find beautiful things to take photos of. The experienced photographer will know how to use the camera to make anything beautiful, because technically everything is beautiful if you're using the right lens, the right angle, the right lighting, etc. That's the experienced photographer. The bespoke photographer is going to take those services to the next level by incorporating, having a camera set up on a tripod and documenting the journey, taking multiple photos, having a protege or a intern in there with him taking photos, handling the lighting, and even making suggestions on the makeup, making suggestions on the environment, making suggestions on the model, how to change the appearance or the fashion so that they get the best shot possible. That is a bespoke service. So of course the asset mindset client is going to pay the most money. All right, so my current transition is from the necessity mindset to the asset mindset, which is why I'm able to charge $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 for one single website, and I'm getting clients in all different industries, right? Because I have not only the experience but that bespokeness. Okay, so let me show you a few websites. I like to talk about websites because obviously that's what I personally am good at. I have a couple up here which I'm going to go ahead and mute. Let me go ahead and mute this tab. It has audio that plays, and this is going to change into a video, right? So it has little animations in the background. It has audio that plays in the background, and this is not a typical website that just any experienced web designer can set up. right? This is totally unique to the brand. I scroll down, it's a movie poster, blah, blah, blah. This is just a typical landing page. This again is a bespoke website. If I go to other major moving company websites, let's say moving company Las Vegas, because people have money there, right? And we're gonna find a moving company from Las Vegas if we can. So 2 men in a truck, that's a normal website, but we're gonna look through a few. moveforlessnevada.com. All right, so that's a Las Vegas website. Move for Less. Now look at this website, right? It's practical, but it's a little cluttered, it's a little boring, it doesn't really intrigue me. Obviously the purpose of a website is to get a specific job done. So you know, my first client was going basically was getting referrals through Google and through a couple other places through word of mouth. So they didn't really need a free live quote. They weren't really to that level yet where he had a whole bunch of employees, you know, and he didn't need a whole lot of automation because he was handling a lot of things manually because it was a brand new business. But the difference between this and this is pretty insane, right? So these companies probably spent $20, $30, $40, $50,000 for these same websites, just to have something that is kind of bland and boring. Of course, we can incorporate the call me, the text us, the live free quote and make it actually look beautiful. But of course, we didn't incorporate Facebook Pixel and all that other good stuff. Now, that's, you know, bespoke services. So let me go back to a couple of other portfolio items. This is one of my favorites. Mute that tab as well. All right, so we've got this little starter up here. It's bespoke because the website looks nothing like any other website you've ever seen, and the branding is specifically dedicated to bringing this mood to the audience, right? The audience pretty much understands the mood of the artist, the mood of the producer, the mood of the entire branding of this person, right? And I designed all of these assets for her. This is a very bespoke website. Here's another one. All right, so the mood is different, the branding is different. I created the logo, I designed pretty much all of the assets, including the background. And you know, this has real-time audio. I can play audio by clicking, and you know, I can move this over, play a different song, video in the background, all the links here. Of course, Twitter, shows, events, press, video, all incorporated on one big page. Let me show you another example. So Me Skateboard & Co. Let me mute this tab as well because it has audio. So these are some of my first clients, and of course I sold myself short on these because these are incredible websites. Now it's hard for you to find great looking websites that actually give you an emotional experience. Most websites still look like they were designed in the 90s. Okay, so these are bespoke services. Let me grab like 2 more. There's one that I really love, if I know where it is. Maybe I took that off of here. I couldn't have. I think I might be missing a portfolio item that I didn't know that I was missing out of here. That's interesting. Okay, so I need to go and add another portfolio item to this. Awesome. So my client website, and it is called Experience Pints. All right, so it's got this Tetris loader in the beginning, definitely geared towards gaming. It's got this video in the background of these gaming cabinets, which are all live. You can see the games actually moving inside of each cabinet, and their logos are on each cabinet. And that's just the background. I click this button, and this is a Parallax website, which means if I want to see about, I click about, there it is. If I want to listen to their podcast, there it is. I can follow them on SoundCloud. I can like them on Facebook. I can watch them on YouTube and subscribe from this page. I can check out all of their social links. I can look at their tweets, right? I can see their game reviews, and I believe I should be able to, I think there's a way that I can follow their WordPress blog. There's a button that's supposed to be on here to follow that blog. But of course I had a Twitter widget in here before where you could subscribe or follow them on Twitter. And the whole purpose of this type of design is to build this client's audience across the board, right? If I find a musician I like, but I'm not deeply in love with, and I find his website and he has his social profiles linked as buttons or as icons, I'm not going to click on his YouTube just to subscribe to him. I'm not going to click on his SoundCloud just to subscribe. I'm not going to click on his Facebook page just to like his page. I'm not going to click on his X, Y, and Z just to follow him. But by having all of these available on the page so that I can subscribe to them on YouTube, like them on Facebook, follow them on SoundCloud, I'm more likely to get my audience to do more than one thing because they can accomplish that in one page with little to no effort. So I can build my audience and grow that audience in a uniform way to where when I direct people to the website, hey, my subscribers can subscribe to all of my platforms without actually leaving my website. So that's a feature that most websites don't and will not ever incorporate because they're not thinking about their client and they're not thinking about how practical the website needs to be for you to accomplish building your audience across all platforms. I don't want to have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube and 1 follower on SoundCloud. I don't want to have 25,000 followers on SoundCloud and 100 Facebook likes. So this gives my clients, customers, or followers the opportunity to support them across the board so long as they have an account in these places. So I can see what's being posted on Facebook. I'm like, damn, I need to follow them on Facebook. Boom, like. Podcasts, they have audio versions. Boom, follow. I have SoundCloud. YouTube, wow, they have video. Boom, subscribe. All right, so all of that can be accomplished if you set up if you know not only what your clients want, but what their customers want. That is how a bespoke service really works. Not just giving my clients what they ask me for, because my clients 9 times out of 10 don't know what to ask and don't know what they need to actually make money. The whole goal is to build an income for our clients. So that is my process of pretty much figuring out, okay, how can I make more money? How can I charge more for my services? I learn more. I consult with my customers. So let me go ahead and open up a Word document that basically I've given to my students to understand how much or how to ask their clients, what is it that you want from your logo, right? So this is a really extreme example. If I want to charge $500 for a logo, I have to be worth $500 per logo. So what I ask my clients when designing their logo, background information of their business. Why is this text so huge? Maybe I made a mistake. Name to incorporate in the logo. Yeah, something's messed up right here. Slogan to incorporate in the logo. Company story, description of organization, mission statement. Why do I need all of that? Because I need to understand that my logo has to appeal to a specific target audience and a specific brand identity. All right, our target audience demographics like age, location, and interests. Of course, sex would be a huge one because the Hot Wheels logo does not look like the Barbie logo, right? Industry. Damn, something's seriously wrong with this thing. I'm gonna increase my text too big. All right, industry, visual style. I don't know what's going on with this, but we'll figure it out here sooner or later. What colors, traits represent your brand best and why? All right, so the reference is below. This is all stuff that goes into logo design. Yellow, optimism, clarity, warmth, solar power, happy, cheerful, fun. All right, yellow. Can you think of a yellow logo? You can probably think of plenty. orange, friendly, pink, love, red, excitement, purple, creative, blue, trustworthy, green, peaceful, growth, health, balance, gray, balanced, natural, calm, authority, corporate, white, black, luxury, navy, trust, brown, traditional, reliable, nurturing, multicolored, internet or tech, multidisciplinary, playful, easygoing, same sex, right? Fruity, multi-perspective. This is Cheerios, flavorable, innovative, and other color requirements. So they might want a specific color because it means something to them. Style attributes. Do you want your logo to be classic or do you want it to be modern, right? Or somewhere in between. Mature, youthful, or somewhere in between. Barbie is youthful. Barbie is between classic and modern. Barbie is feminine. Barbie is playful. Barbie is somewhat in between economical and luxurious. Barbie is organic. It's not geometric. It's not really shaped like a square because it's cursive. Barbie is abstract because it's not a literal Barbie doll. Apple's logo is literal, right? Because it's an actual apple. Apple's logo is modern. It's mature. It's masculine. It's sophisticated. It's luxurious. It's geometric. Actually, it's kind of in between geometric and organic. I'd say it's more organic actually, and it's literal because it is an apple. Okay, so all of these things are the reason that I'm able to charge $500 or more for a logo, because I understand how to create a bespoke experience for my clients and give them something that's actually going to appeal to their target audience of people who actually want to buy their product. Right? Design inspiration, references, other notes, deliverables, requirements, fonts, tips. And what I include in my logo design service is the custom logo plus an alternative logo design in a 1920 by 1920 canvas, which is high definition. Unlimited revisions for my client. Delivered file types include Adobe Fireworks, Adobe PNG, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe EPS, and Adobe PSD and PDF. We include additional files like a Facebook profile photo and a profile banner with their logo in it, because if they're going to have us design their logo, we might as well design their banner with their logo in it as well, right? Because they're going to use the logo anyways, so let us create additional value for them to validate being able to spend $500. We're going to create a Twitter profile photo and banner, and some simple business card front and back design with that same logo, right? Because if our logo that we design is going to be on their stationery, their business card, their C4 or cover letter, we want that cover letter to accurately represent the quality of that logo. So we don't want a shit business card design with our logo on it. They're going to say, who designed that logo? That's a nice logo, but the business card looks like crap, right? So we want to provide this for them because they have no creative direction, and they're going to see value in being able to get multiple services. Remember, I said going from desperate to experience. So by understanding that the clients that come to us will usually need a Facebook banner and profile picture and all those other things, but they don't know to ask, or they don't think about it. They just know they need a logo right away because they know a logo is necessary. We say, hey, well, we design your logo, but I know that with your logo, you're going to eventually create a Facebook page, a banner, and a Facebook profile image, and a Twitter. Let us design your Twitter banner and all of your social assets and business cards for you, because you need those too, right? They're going to say, yeah, well, I thought I was going to have to go and hire somebody else to design all those things. You say, no, you don't have to go and hire 10 different people to do 10 different things. Just pay us one time. We're going to do the best job we can, and we're going to provide all of those other things for you. That way, that person with the necessity mindset will realize, oh shit, this person's experienced. I know I need a Facebook banner. I know I need a Facebook profile picture. I know I need a Twitter banner. I know I need business cards, but I need a logo first too. Well, since I'm going to need all of those other things, let me hire this experienced person who has experience in doing all of those things. And of course I'll pay $500 because I need $500 worth of stuff. I just didn't think about getting it all from one person because I didn't know one person could do it all, right? They have a necessity mindset. Now, when you get up to the bespoke services, you're not working with people in this. Of course, the necessity mindset usually consists of people who don't have a whole bunch of money to spend, right? They are on a budget. Now, the asset-minded people usually have thousands of dollars they're willing to spend, and they don't necessarily have a budget. They just have a deadline. Or, they don't have the time to do this themselves. The necessity mindset people probably have the time to do it. They don't have the skill, right? The liability mindset people the liability mindset people don't have the skill, but they definitely have the time. They surely don't have the money, right? They have the lowest budgets. Because they live in that mindset that gave them that opportunity to have that low budget, right? Just because they have a liability mindset, going to work is a liability to them. Buying a car is a liability to them. They don't see using their resources to create a necessity or an asset-driven lifestyle. The necessity people usually know that having a nice car that's reliable is necessary for them to be able to go to work, which is necessary for them to be able to achieve some bigger goal, right? They go to school because it's necessary for them to get a degree, which is necessary for them to have a job. The asset-minded people don't see a car as being a necessity, or a job or college degree as being a necessity. They see they see their time as being an asset to the world. So they usually don't go to school, or they usually don't have a job because those jobs don't provide assets for them. They don't pay for a mortgage or a car note. They buy cars, they buy small houses and flip them and get paid on those houses because they are assets driven. They have assets already, right? Chances are they own properties, they own investments, right? They're asset driven. So those are the three tiers of, providing a services, and also the three tiers of clients that match those services. Every month you need to be working on climbing the ladder on both sides, even especially on the side of providing a service, so that you can make the most money possible for the smallest amount of time. And in doing so, you're not ripping people off by charging more. You're just learning that your time is actually worth something to someone else, right? So while you might charge $5 for a logo for someone here, and you might charge $500 for someone else to do that same logo, you're not necessarily ripping that $500 person off. You understand that that $500 person is in the asset or the necessity driven mindset, and you understand that you eventually want to provide a bespoke service. You see your creative ability and your talent as unique, and you think that you are worth something, and your worth is solely determined by you. Society and other people in your industry cannot determine how much you're worth. And if that were true, then a Ford Mustang would be pretty much the same price as a Dodge Raptor. Okay, so, or I'm sorry, Ford Raptor. Well, that was a bad analogy. I was gonna say Lamborghini, but that's a little bit extreme, a Ford Mustang compared to a Lamborghini. But they're in the same industry. And what I mean is, Lamborghini is more of a bespoke vehicle, whereas Toyota is more of along the lines of the people who are desperate to get what they need to basically accumulate more liabilities. Now, the people who are asset driven will probably buy a Lamborghini because they see it as an asset. They can go back and make money off of it if they decide to sell it. The people that are liability driven will just buy a car off of Craigslist because they know it's a liability to them. They want to spend the least amount of money possible, and eventually they're going to have problems with that. What's funny is Lamborghini does not do its job as well as Toyota does. You drive in a Lamborghini for 3 hours, you're going to be very uncomfortable. You drive in a Toyota for 3 hours, you're probably going to have a pretty comfortable drive. You drive in a Lamborghini in Memphis, you're going to run over bumps, and it's not going to be a good experience because Lamborghinis are too low to the ground for you to go over speed bumps or into driveways in this area. So it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It doesn't do what a car is supposed to do well. It's just a bespoke vehicle, right? It's tailored to what the client wants, and they're willing to spend $150,000 on one. Whereas you can go and get a $20,000 Toyota, which does what a car is supposed to do. It has great gas mileage. It has, hybrid option, and you can sit your whole family in that car. You have a safe car for your kids to be in. It does what it's supposed to be. But, again, liability driven mindset. People drive certain cars and invest or spend money on certain things because they don't think they're going to be able to make any money, or they're not thinking about putting themselves in a position to build an income with that purchase. All right, so if you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, comment on the video below. Share this with someone who you think will benefit from seeing this, especially someone that you care about who is offering a service and they're not charging enough, right? And hopefully this can benefit you. Tell me, what is your biggest takeaway from this video? What's one thing that stood out to you the most? And after today, what are you going to change to move on to that next level on that ladder? What is one thing that you're going to change? Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, peace.